every time we think that the Conjuring series is finally concluded, they pull something out of the bag and say, there you go, another movie. Not that I'm complaining, but as much as I love the franchise, some movies have been a disappointment. Understandably, when I learned about them doing a prequel, I was skeptical. But with new updates flowing in, I'm guessing that the franchise is on the right path. Might just give us another blockbuster. So, without any more delay, let's check out everything that we know about The Conjuring First Communion. The Conjuring began its journey over a decade ago in 2013, and the original movie was directed by none other than James Wan. Ever since, Ed and Lorraine Warren became household names, and people like me don't really appreciate the idea of playing hide-and-seek in a huge-ass house. Soon, the first movie spawned an entire franchise, and people all over the world loved how the movies brought together various themes of supernatural horror, occult, and historical themes. The franchise then expanded successfully through both offshoot and mainline stories, like The Curse of La Llorona, Annabelle, and The Nun. Now, the last movie, The Conjuring Last Rites, released in 2025, it was supposed to be a conclusive chapter in Ed and Lorraine's story, but as it so happened, the film ended up being the highest grossing project in the Central Conjuring series and earned approximately $499 million worldwide. It thus surpassed any previous entry in the film series in terms of box office returns, and in no way could Warner Brothers let such a massive success go unused. So Last Rites will now work as the finale of the existing narrative and a farewell to Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga's Ed and Lorraine respectively. But the studio has made it clear that the larger Conjuring universe is nowhere near its closure and will continue with projects like The First Communion and other movies in the future. And Saffron said, I think that Last Rites shows that there's a lot of fuel left in the tank. Last Rites was the end of that particular version of the story with Patrick and Vera and that version of The Conjuring. In fact, there are also plans for a Conjuring streaming show, and we have Nancy Wan working as the writer. I'm beginning to believe my grandkids too will be pre-booking, as the Conjuring franchise still has a few tricks up its sleeve. James Wan has now taken a backseat as a producer alongside Peter Safran, who continues to oversee the franchise as young directors like Rodrigue Huart try their luck with the series. Huart is best known for working on short films like Transylvanie. Huart has proven that he can handle atmospheric horror very well with Transylvanie. The slow burn short film tells the story of a 10-year-old who's convinced that she's a vampire, and soon her innocent childhood takes a deadly turn. Huart has expressed his love for Japanese horror, and its tense, bleak, and ghostly vibe as an influence that kinda tells you that The Conjuring First Communion is in good hands. Huart was hired off the strength of a short film, according to The Wrap. The screenplay is being written by Richard Nyang and Ian Goldberg, whose credits include films like The Nun 2, Last Rites, Eli, and Autopsy of Jane Doe. John Rickard, Natalia Safran, and Romal Adam are set to serve as executive producers. Safran said in an interview, there's so much more to it that we haven't dug into. So the truth is, I think there's really exciting ways to go with both film and television, frankly. It would be incredibly satisfying. People have been on this journey with us for a dozen years now, and I think they want more. Now, though plot details for The Conjuring First Communion are being guarded as closely as Ed and Lorraine guarded the Pearson family's music box, since it's a prequel, we can make an educated guess that the movie will likely explore the early, unrecorded days of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren before they became famous. And as I mentioned at the beginning, fans were divided by the news. One user wrote, wait, didn't they literally say the last one was the end? Please don't run the franchise into the ground. However, the announcement has left many other followers of the franchise excited, and another person posted, can't wait to see how they explore the origins of the Warrens' case. Prequels in horror are always intriguing. Now, the thing is, my reaction shifted quite literally from, oh god, they're drawing out the franchise mercilessly, to, now this sounds interesting when the casting and filming details began to be released. For starters, we have Garrett Waring and Amanda Fix being confirmed to portray the younger versions of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Waring is a pretty familiar face to audiences, having starred Netflix's Ransom Canyon and Manifest, as well as Lionsgate's Stephen King adaptation, The Long Walk. He made his film debut in Independence Day Resurgence as Babu a decade ago, and has built quite an impressive resume over the years. Honestly, it's his performance as Stebbins in The Long Walk that convinced me he can pull off a young Ed Warren quite well. Coming to Amanda Fix, she too has been a known face since appearing as Benjamin in the Netflix horror thriller series Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen. Fix's recent performance has been as Billy in the Plan B movie Teenage Sex and Death at Camp My Ass. Interestingly, Last Rites 2 had younger actors for Ed and Lorraine, namely Orion Smith and Madison Lawler, but Garrett and Amanda are set to replace them in the prequel, and that kind of hints that the casting has been a carefully planned decision. Wait, we have more casting info. Turns out, the makers of The Conjuring First Communion have roped in actors like Chris Parnell, Marta Kessler, Caleb Dolden, and Matthias Schweihofer. Parnell is known for appearing in movies like Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Parnell's other credits include David Fincher's The Killer, The Mandalorian, and TNT's The Last Ship. Marta Kessler, too, is quite famous for her performance as a gnome sidekick, Olga, in the second season of the Disney Plus series The Santa Clauses. Kessler was nominated for a Children's and Family Emmy for her appearance as Constance Contraire in Disney Plus's The Mysterious Benedict Society, and also appeared in films such as The Bloody Lady and Row 19. Next up, we have Caleb Dolden, who has earned quite some fame after starring as a series regular in Peacock's horror thriller Teacup, produced by Atomic Monster. He's also appeared in Single Parents and The Requiem Boogie. Lastly, we have the German actor Schweihofer joining the cast of First Communion, who's best known for appearing as the psychiatrist Werner Heisenberg in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Schweihofer's other acting credits include Heart of Stone and Pixar's Elia. Most recently, Schweihofer starred in the German sci-fi thriller Brick, which reached the #1 spot on Netflix's global film chart and topped the rankings in 59 countries within just 24 hours of its release. He recently wrapped the action comedy Mr. opposite Walton Goggins, and is also set to appear in Juan Colette Sierra's World War II-era psychological thriller Play Dead, produced by Sam Raimi. He's also a filmmaker and has earned global recognition after directing Netflix's Army of Thieves. Schweihofer shared his excitement about joining the Conjuring franchise by posting on Instagram with the caption, "Pinch me, the news I find out. I will be joining the Conjuring cast for New Line horror prequels The Conjuring First Communion, directed by Rodriguez Hart." The roles of all these newly announced members are being kept under wraps, but given their resumes, it really seems like The Conjuring First Communion is bringing in some serious talent. I love people who get sneaky and give us some exciting news because we know that the cameras for The Conjuring First Communion have already begun rolling. I mean, given that they've slated it for the 2027 September release, it was only a matter of time before we got leaked photos. According to the reports, shooting has started by late July and might be filming under the working title of Bridgeport. A map of road closures posted on a nearby tree also reveal the production's working title, and this is an interesting choice. See, Connecticut has been an integral part of Ed and Lorraine Warren because back in 1974, they investigated a case which came to be known as the Bridgeport Poltergeist. It revolved around a home at 966 Lindley Street in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where a couple, Laura and Gerald Gooden, apparently experienced paranormal activities. The case became one of the most heavily publicized local poltergeist claims and even got the police officers and firefighters involved. It remains one of the most important cases of the Warrens in their formative years before they shot to fame after the Amityville haunting incident in 1975. Production of this movie also transformed parts of New York's Pine Hills neighborhood into what appears to be a 1940s setting. Onlookers have caught glimpses of period-specific vehicles, street lamps, and Victory Gardens lining along North Pine Avenue. Basically, these were vegetable gardens commonly planted by households during World War II to supplement food supplies. Apart from these, people have also noticed production trucks, cameras, and lighting equipment. It's been reported that they're conducting both daytime and nighttime shoots, and residents have been notified about filming flyers posted around the neighborhood. The production has also issued temporary parking restrictions and street closures at various points. During one of the shoots, the crew was spotted filming outside a home on North Pine Avenue, where two young children, a boy and a girl, appeared to be planting seeds in the front yard. The street also had a 1940s-style Bridgeport police vehicle. Production is also underway at Armory Studios in Schenectady and around the city's historical Stockade District. According to casting notices, filming is expected to continue across upstate New York through October. Alright guys, that's all we have for today. From the developments and the talented cast, it seems like The Conjuring First Communion will be a genuinely intriguing and scary period horror movie. After the success of Last Rites, the creators now have a greater responsibility to uphold the franchise's reputation, and if they can land it properly, it seems First Communion will be one of the best movies of the franchise. Do let us know whether you're excited for the movie or still can't figure out why or how they're continuing the series after their so-called finale. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next marvelous video. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, stay marvelous.